Okay, here we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Combat Files, another episode of Combat Files. And I have a really exciting guest with me today. His name is Tim Foster, and he and I cut our cloth in the same industry. Tim is the founder and owner of the Yummy Pub Company. Welcome, Tim.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to actually allow you to introduce yourself for those listeners who don't know you.
Okay, cool. I'm one of three founders. There's three of us that own Yummy. We started in 2007 by selling pretty much everything that we owned and hopped everything possible and bought the lease on a 15th century mill with a 26-acre lake. We decided to go for it and buy the mansion house as opposed to going for the flat first on our journey. We stood outside of it for 4 days, saying to customers that they needed to come back because of all sorts of complications with the solicitors and buying it from the chap we bought it from. And we've been on an incredible learning journey in business for 12 years. So we moved up to 6 sites just over 2 years ago. And then exactly 2 years ago, bar the day, it was yesterday, we had a massive fire at our flagship site, which is in between Euston and St Pancras. We trended above Beyonce on Twitter, which is one of our claims to fame. We shut Euston station. We had 72 fire officers, 10 engines. We were the second largest fire since Grenfell. And we got the pub handed back to us at 6 a.m. The following day, looked at one another and said, right, we better crack on then. So, and now we've gone into COVID. So the journey has been interesting. So as part of that, we decided to exit 2 sites. We couldn't make one work, and we've been trying to make one work for over 10 years and we hadn't kind of cracked it. So we started to dispose of those and we were going on a disposal route to then reset the business into a freehold business because despite the fire, despite everything that went on, we managed to actually buy the freehold of the wire mill last year whilst we were kind of navigating our way out of the fire, which then allowed us to basically kind of proof ourselves for the future. So crisis management is probably a good way of describing Yummy Pubco at the moment.
Yeah. A claim to fame, I think, more than
yeah. No, nobody should need that claim to fame. Trust me.
Yeah.
If you can avoid it, avoid it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wanted to really briefly skim over the business side of things because, it's been quite well documented over the COVID period. You've been, obviously posting on a regular basis. Again, just for the listener's sake, what are the measures you've taken to survive and thrive?
We made the call to kind of have a parachute plan. So we started having meetings when Cobra was set up. So we'd used video conferencing in the business for a while now. So we were having a regular kind of meeting between the three of us and just coming out with different plans and kind of talking to our accountants that would we essentially have to walk away from the London business and just to protect the wire mill. So ultimately it was to protect the freehold, it was to protect the future. And because we'd gone through the issues with the Somerstown, at the time of the Somerstown fire, we were going to lose the whole business. It was entirely gone. So we made no provisions for the future, which was a bit silly. We were kind of trading day by day, week by week, month by month, and we were building this great business, but we kind of didn't have any foundations in place, and it could all just disappear. So we made the call to protect the mill. So I had down. Anthony stayed in London to shut down the London sites. Jason was with me at the wire mill, and our plan was to basically do a click and collect grocery shop. We saw the supermarkets crumbling. We knew we still had supply chain coming through, so we decided to create a shop, which was amazing. Incredible learning experience, totally different. We took essentially a fish and chip shop online system and converted it into the shop. Taking pictures of food out on the lake and, understanding the price of cauliflower going from 80p to £3.40, but we'd already sold 50 of them. And it was just incredible. And also just to experience the supply chain crashing, and when we shut, I think a lot of people keep on talking, even today, pubs, restaurants. Nobody's talking about the supply chain that have to be there. Boris thinks he can just do this and we're going to turn on. If the supply chain hadn't started to roll the dice like we know they have in the last couple of weeks, there's no hope in hell we'd be able to open. So, the touch points of the industry go far-reaching, and we wanted to protect those people as much as we could. We have, there's 3 golden rules. We don't have missions or mission statements or things to put on the wall. It's people. It's our people, our guests, our suppliers, and that's how we've always run Yummy. So, it was all about the people and protecting people. So we didn't even know that furlough was going to kick in. They didn't announce that until the Friday. So all of our plans were, how could we create a business that could sustain at least trying to pay some of our people, and then we started doing delivery at the 2 London sites with a delivery concept, and that's been quite interesting, learning lessons on that. And we began cooking meals for homeless. The Mayor of London basically went in and swept up all of the homeless in London. So 5,500 homeless people were picked up by all the councils over a period of about 5 or 6 days, put into hotels that we would normally have foreign guests visiting. Those hotels look amazing online, but then when you get there, you just look and go, hang on a minute, am I in the same place? So they don't have F&B facilities. They don't have kitchens. So we got a message from Greg at Only Payment Away, who we've been working with for the last 18 months or so, to say, has anybody got a kitchen that we could use to cook? We found these homeless people in this hotel. So Anthony bounced it back an email and said, look, we're nowhere near Pimlico, but hey, if we can help, we can help. We've got the guys volunteering to stay in sites, so that we kind of had the security protected. I'm sure if we went to them and said, would you like to volunteer, they would all step up. And now he's created this kind of, not business because it's not making any money, but kind of this system and kind of operation. And they're doing 375 meals a day.
Wow.
And we're part of a group that are producing 34,000 meals a week.
Wow.
Which has just come from literally nowhere. So it's been pretty fascinating to be part of that. And I call myself a visitor to that side of it. I've left that alone. The guys have done that. Anthony's led it, and the team at Somerstown have done it. And I just pop in and say hi every now and then and pick up some beer that I've been donating to different hospitals.
I've seen
stuff. So we've done a beer tuck shop, free beer for the NHS. So just try to have a few distractions to have some fun and just do some good. Try and make the best of the situation, really.
Yeah, and as I said, it's been very well documented by yourself. I mean, your business was also mentioned on the daily briefings by the government. So you've clearly sort of made an impact. What's really because I was part of supply chain for 30 years. I was supplying to people like yourself. So I was really heartened to see on one of your posts, you mentioned that you actually paid your suppliers. You managed to achieve that, which is a phenomenal achievement under the current circumstances, to be able to do that, which is, hats off to you guys. Really impressive.
We've paid them first. We've taken, as directors, we're not on the we are on the PAYE system for furlough, but it's a tiny amount of money, and as a director, you make that decision based on the contributing factors with that. In hindsight, I wish I'd gone on the payroll. We haven't taken a salary now for 14 weeks, so it's putting us under huge personal pressure. We've got to get the size trading to get paid, basically. So we've taken a massive hit, but it was important. Like I say, the three rules we sit back of the queue in regards to that.
Yeah. Before I move on, I just wanted to describe how you describe yourself in LinkedIn as the leader of a band of misfits.
This is true. It's changing over time. But, we again, when you're a small company, worked for Carlsberg for nearly 10 years and loved it. Loved the kind of the ethos of the business. And when you went to Copenhagen and you really began to understand the company and get into the actual fabric of the company, the beer didn't matter. It didn't matter if somebody liked it or didn't like it or thought it was rubbish. It was all about the ethics and the ethos of the company. So when we started out, we were called a ridiculous name when we first started. We were called Bar Hub Limited, and we used to ring suppliers and they go, "What's the name of the company?" We go, "Bar Hub Limited." I'll spell it for you. And we literally got about 18 months in, and I just, Anthony said to me, "This, I was doing my head in. The logo's rubbish." We had this whole big plan about all these different things we could do with the pub, and there were four of us originally. Well, there were three of us originally, then four because Jason joined, and then Colin stepped back and. He was technical, so he was a technical kind of beer lines and everything. And we were going to do all sorts of things, festivals, you name it. We were doing a lot, and then actually started trying to run a pub together. And went, wow, I don't think we're going to be doing too many things. So Yummy just came from nowhere, and we just wanted to liven it up and have a bit of fun. So we can create our own job titles. I pretty much change them every week, really. Head of Awesome stuck for the length of time it has, just because it has. I was head of Foresight at one time. It would have been good to have been that for COVID.
Yeah.
It
gives it a little bit of a chuckle, to be honest with you, when you read it.
Totally.
It's quite funny.
Yeah, and all of our team, they're on different journeys. Some of them stick around for a period of time. Some of them disappear. Some of them want to be actors, and we try and ask people to follow their dreams. And when I'm working in a site, I challenge them. I just plainly walk up to them and ask them why they're here. Most of them look relatively confused if we haven't had that conversation before. But you just kind of go, is it a stopgap? Do you want to progress in hospitality? I fell into this sector. I never wanted to. I didn't have. Dreams when I was a 15-year-old kid to go, wow, I want to run a pub company. I was going to be a graphic designer and all sorts of stuff. That was my dream. So we challenge their dreams a lot. When they're with us, we want them to give 24/7, but we also want them to give. We want them to change and alter the business and give their heart and soul to changes, so we can kind of develop and adapt the business based on what they bring to it. So a whole load of misfits, many different shapes and sizes.
That's brilliant. I think it's fantastic. It's a great marketing strategy there. I wanted to really touch upon Tim Foster, the person, more than anything else.
There we go.
Here we go. And my starting point is that video that you posted. And what I want to do is actually we're going to show it on the, if it's okay with you, we're going to show it on the on the show.
So, decided a bit of fresh air, and Boris, I just wanted to send you a message. This is my third all-nighter that I've pulled. It's 6:05 in the morning. I'm coming to the park because I need to get a bit of fresh air, a bit of a break, and clearly it would seem to have a little bit of a cry about what you're doing to the people that have created incredible businesses, trying to protect their people that have done everything with them. And right now, you're doing nothing for me. You guys have got to understand what pressure you're putting on hospitality and what pressure you're putting on people that have delivered millions and millions to this government by going it alone and giving it a go. And you've got to start listening. And if you ask my wife, she hasn't seen me cry for the entire time that we're married. It's my anniversary today, and I should be celebrating, but I'm not. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep my business alive. I'm asking my people to keep my pubs open, to keep trading, because every penny that we take over the doors, every penny that we put in the till helps to keep them and keep their jobs, not the buildings, not the business. I'm not shutting up shop so that I can keep hold of the pubs that are there. I'm trading to protect my people. And you guys have got to understand how severe this is, because I've got 89 of them and I can't keep it going. I can't keep it going closed. I can't keep it going borrowing money on loans. I can't keep it going with epoxy business rate suspension for a year. It doesn't work for me. I've created incredibly successful businesses. You guys have got to understand how serious this is, and you're not listening. And it feels like you're not listening. So just wanted to send a message whilst ranting in the park, just so possibly somebody starts to listen and somebody starts to understand what we are trying to do. We're trying to protect lives, we're trying to protect people, and I know the same goes for this poxy virus, but we need help, and we need proper help. So, message from me, Tim Foster, Yummy Pubco, but on behalf of all hospitality, please stop listening.
Now that we've seen the video, and I want to touch upon the video at a particular point, not immediately, because obviously there was a lot of emotion there and there's a lot of authenticity, the way that you had sort of expressed yourself. I want to actually take you back to the early years in your teens, and there was an event that happened in your life that impacted you hugely. It changed your family, it rocked your family. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more? And
Yeah.
For the listeners.
Totally. So, yeah, my use of LinkedIn was horrific. You know, I'd jump on there and look at a few stories, and I never posted. I'd catch up with what people were doing and see what my old team were up to, and look fondly on the fact that they suddenly turned into VPs in different countries and all sorts of amazing journeys. So that's kind of how I used it. And then I suppose the week on the build up to lockdown and actually being told to close rather than just don't go to a pub anymore, we were just working 24/7. I was kind of pushing through the nights and just trying to come up with different plans. And then I decided I think I saw that it was all disappearing. And I think I saw that I was going to probably lose everything, and I couldn't really see it to record for my kids to understand the journey. When I was 15, my dad lost his entire business. He was an auctioneer. He had created a business down in Brighton and run an auction house down there. We had an amazing childhood. I kind of grew up on a farm in Warburton, which is in Sussex. Mum and dad bought it, no running water, no heating, blah, 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 typical rundown farm, but beautiful building, 26 acres of land. And you had to drive all the way down to get it. So they kind of went and just they started investing in it and put on a conservatory, and they had all of the pictures of, we had a bathroom party where they installed a bathroom rather than us having to wash from a tap, which ultimately is what we did. So I remember the bathroom party because my younger brother, 3 years younger than me, went round and drank the remains of all of the glasses from the party and got so sick he turned green and threw up everywhere. Because he was walking around drinking all the booze. So they invested, and we had massive sheds, and I had horses and used to ride pony club horses and drive motorbikes around the fields, and kind of went wanting for nothing really in the 80s, to be fair. And had a great childhood up until the age of 14, 15. So recession hit. And that he didn't adapt. I think he tried to think that we were going to come out the other side. There was no IKEA weren't really here. And you either bought furniture, antique furniture, or you bought secondhand furniture. And I used to go on the vans and clean out houses where people had passed away, and he would walk in and buy the whole house worth of furniture and find a golden nugget somewhere potentially, or kind of learn and cut from the cloth. He was an amazing auctioneer. Great lifestyle. And then recession hit. He kind of didn't know how to cope with it. The business started going backwards at a massive rate of knots, to the extent where he turned into an alcoholic, and just kind of buried his head in the sand for me. And he had bankrolled the house. Everything had been bankrolled on the business. So we lost everything. The house went, bailiffs came. I was there when, you know, they were standing at the door screaming at the bailiffs and not going to take the furniture, and Mum went into complete and utter meltdown. And he had kept on saying, you know, he had sorted out a cottage up the road, and don't worry, I've sorted the cottage, the kids will be fine, we're moving to the cottage. We ended up going into a 4-berth caravan in the middle of winter on Horan Park caravan site, the only caravan. Now you probably get 1,000 caravans onto the same pitch of land, because nothing had been sorted. You know, we literally moved into the caravan and off we went. So we kind of lost the lot. So yeah, when that week of build up towards kind of government weren't stepping in to help, and there was no conversations around the furlough scheme, and just we were just looking at this mountain of debt, and, you know, having to close down, and would we close for 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? Could we afford to go through? I kind of just thought, you know what, it's gone. So decided to make the video, and then in a moment of just frustration, madness, decided where should I put it? You know, where should I record my story? I'd already got my LinkedIn account. It was, you know, as an app on my phone. And just uploaded it and threw it on, and then then I've decided I kind of then began, you know, got a massive outpouring of support from people just saying, look, you know, this is incredible, and we're all going through the same thing, and just getting so many phone calls and so many messages from people on the platform just going, dude, you know, that was incredible, thanks so much for that. And hundreds and hundreds of new connections. So and then a couple of days later, I kind of got a message just saying, when's the next one coming up? And I was like, oh, no, what do you mean the next one? And they're like, come on, tell the story. If you're going to tell the story and you want your kids to actually see what happened, if it goes right, they get to see what you've done. If it goes wrong, they get to understand it. Because my brother and I, he's, you know, as I said, he's 3 years younger than me. So when it was all happening, he was 12, 11, 12, and he doesn't remember any of it, you know, and that was my entire fabric of the time of what I was doing was to protect him, you know, and he was my younger brother. I would protect him, hide him under the bed, you know, when everything was going on, and be there for him. I'm glad that work of the events that happen, he just doesn't have them. So kind of I ticked the box there really. But yeah, I wanted my kids to understand just what had happened if everything had gone and we'd lost everything, which, you know, we're still in the midst of. This isn't fixed by any means, but it's just something that was important to me. And then the stories began turning from kind of this is a downward spiral to what can we achieve, what can we do, what can we be proud of, and pretty much every day. And then I've started running. I've been getting messages from people saying, stop putting messages up of just after your run, because I've been in the house all day and I'm really not interested in knowing that you've just been running. So I've kind of kept it going. Not every day. I've done it every day for me personally. So I've got an everyday log that I can look back on if I want to, or I can show them. I've just kind of I've posted different things. I think just a little bit full on me whacking up a story every single day of what I'm up to. So I've just kind of I've picked and choose really. And,
it's interesting because I mean you that particular video got 17,487 views. I mean that was pretty impressive, and I just want to go back to the time when your father's business was in decline. Clearly, it was a life-changing event for the family. What was your emotion? What were you? I mean, what were you? Obviously, you're witnessing this thing happening. What was going through your mind at that time?
It was completely full on, to be honest. So every day there was a new argument, there was a new meltdown, there was a new, something was going to happen. It was just horrific. I've blanked most of it out, if I'm totally honest. I can't remember a huge amount of it. I can remember key days. I can remember things that had happened. At one point, we had guns in the house because of being on the farm, and at one point he had a 12-bore shotgun loaded up to his chin, and he was going to pull the button, and that was it, done. And I remember walking up and taking the gun, and he had it pointed at Mum first, and I put myself between her and him to try and make him understand and see sense. So yeah, I remember those events. I remember Mum taking the dad's beaten up Volvo when the bailiffs came flying up the road, coming hammering down. He bought her a new Scirocco a week before this has all happened. So, you know, saying that he was living in the world of dream world was absolutely true. And yeah, she came raring down the road to total the Scirocco with the bailiffs coming to pick up the brand new car. So there's certain events I remember, but the majority of it I blocked out. We're really fortunate. Mum had a guy I went fishing with all of the time, who died of cancer a couple of years later, and he was there to protect us. You know, I would ring him at 2 a.m. and just go, I need help. Can you come and help me? And he'd come down and settle them down, and Dad would storm off somewhere, and Mum would still be in the house. So, you know, without his support and without him being there, I don't know what would have happened. But yeah, I blanked loads of it out. I remember doing my GCSEs in a 4-berth caravan with 2 dogs. That was fun. Yeah, we carried on really. So we moved from the caravan into a house. Finally got registered onto the dole or whatever it was in those days, and they paid for the house. Yeah, obviously they were there to try and protect us because we were both underage. So they had to provide facilities to be there for us. Yeah, he never recovered. You know, he just kind of continued to drink, and it broke him. And he died just past 50 years old. Wasted his life away. Didn't get to see my firstborn. Finney was born about 2 months after he died. No, slightly longer than he died in August. So yeah, about 6 months later, Lucy just kind of turned pregnant, and we were celebrating that she was pregnant. So he gets his grandkids, and didn't really get to see life. You know, just gave up on it and allowed the business element of it to just destroy him entirely, and just consumed him with failure. So that then made me more aggressive in what I wanted to achieve and not make the same mistakes. And yeah, kind of always having in the back of my mind the lessons learned really, and always have them there.
It's interesting because I've gone through something similar, and we talked about this off air, didn't I?
Yeah, we did.
You know, yeah, about 18 months ago, and I can resonate with a lot of things that you're talking about, and the feeling of failure, the feeling of loss. You know, I ran that business for 30 years. I took it out of my mother's garage, and we made a huge success of it. Took it to 42 million annual turnover, and it really does strike you down. You know, there are days, and there are some very dark days that I could say that, you know, really question my own ability as a man, you know, to function and support the family. But it's interesting because clearly from your experience, and I'm curious to sort of slightly explore this a little bit more, is that if you look at the post and you look at your performance, to me, it seems that experience has really, you know, sort of formed you in the man that you are, and the determination that you have. You know, I see, you know, elements of your experience when you were posting and you were talking. I saw the video today again this morning, and it really speak to me actually. You know, those events, and what you were trying to do, I guess, was, I mean, you brought that past right in front, and that's why the emotion also perhaps came out. Obviously, you're worried about your staff, and you're worried about your business. You had worked very, very hard. I mean, would you say that there's an element of that sitting in there, and when you were putting the message out?
Yeah, so completely, and it was a self-fulfilling message. Really, it was something for me to look back on and say, did I do everything? Did I do everything to protect it? Because, you know, like you say, we're proud people. You know, you can cut people as many ways as you want. You know, it takes somebody pretty special to not be proud of what they do, and you know, want to look at that and not be a failure. You know, and you read all the quotes about, you know, failure then breeds success, and you know, you have to fail or trip over to then carry on running. You go, Jesus, I don't know. The failure side of things is just horrific. You know, who wants to go anywhere near that to then relearn again? Yeah, no.
Well, your personal
just success.
Yeah, and on your LinkedIn profile, I did a little bit more research. So there's a post there on your personal profile, 2010, and you've put a picture there and says, I've got it here. He describes, or he dislikes failure deeply.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my I'm redoing it actually. So
Are you okay?
I went through I've always been kind of not confident. When I wish I'd had the confidence that the pub game has taught me when I was in the graphic design university game. I was very timid, and whether or not that was the 15-year-old me not recovering, and I really struggled to make friends, and because we moved a lot, I never had a core area where I would live. Normally we'd move every 6-7 months, and same area, same school, but it just always felt like I was always on the move, and there was no point in making relationships because I'll be gone again. So my kind of regard for people, when you look at me now to when you look at me when I did that profile, I had one of the lowest scores that you could possibly get in the green sector, to the point where the lady who was running the course wanted me to redo it because I was a line manager. And she was like, I don't think you can be a line manager if you've got this green. And I used to go out with sales directors, and their phone would have a picture of their wife and children on it. I go, oh, Jesus Christ, can you have something decent on there? My phone's now got a picture of my wife and my children on the screen. So I think, having kids just changes you entirely. And when people say that you have that emotional link, or what happens, when Finn was born, that was it. For me, just changed my viewpoint entirely. So since I put that post up, actually I've had about eight or nine different training people come to me, amazing messages, just saying, look, I'm a approved trainer within the profiles, love to redo it and do it if you'd want to do it on the house, and so I've got sent a link for me to, I was going to do it the weekend, didn't have a chance to do it, so I'll redo it. But hates failure deeply, 100%. Bull in a china shop, 100%. Afraid to not say anything, 100%. Crap new things and new visions, 100%. I kind of understand my failings as much as I know my strengths, and build people around me that help with the failing part of things is part of the plan. And I've been listening to quite a few different podcasts and stuff in the car, and I think my strategy or my approach to business will change through this as well, through this kind of COVID period. So quite interesting to just kind of go down what are you really, really good at? Why don't you just focus on that? And quite amazing the amount of people that have come to me saying that you should do some sort of people coaching thing from what we've seen on LinkedIn. That's where and I look at it and go, no, that's rubbish. But actually the videos that I began to make kind of, I don't know, days 14 through to 30, 40, it was more about kind of giving people some visibility on what I was achieving, that they could then do so. And, I must have had 40, 50 people through LinkedIn send me a message just going, look, just wanted to say, heads up, man, thank you so much for this. It's really helped me. And I kind of doubted myself here and here. And then I've had various telephone conversations like with you, and found out about what other people's journeys are going through, and just to chat for an hour, just to go, look, do you reckon you can get through it? Do you want to? And it's been great. It's been really inspiring to kind of be there, and just, I've certainly not fixed any problems. I've just been able to relate to them. And, I had some pretty deep conversations early in the morning or late at night with some incredible CEOs, who are just like, shit, how do we keep on doing this? What do we do? And I don't know. I'm second guessing myself 24/7 if I'm honest. I came up with a crap idea that I was going to get fit and get ready, go running every day to encourage my guys to do training.
But you know what I see? I see actually, aside from the coaching side, I see a man who can actually be a quite an impactful keynote speaker, and somebody who has a command of his business and industry. But at the same time, you can really recreate yourself on the stage. TED Talks and that sort of stuff, because you've got that now profile, and you can make a difference to people through that form of communication. People can relate to you that way, and I think that's maybe an interesting thing that you may want to. You'll enjoy it, I think, because you like sort of talking on in front of camera, and you're good at it.
Love doing on stage. Never filmed it before, but just vlog it out there. It's not a problem.
And I think one of the things that I would describe you also is that you've got a incredible fighting spirit, and it reminds me, and I just want to share this with you. It reminds me of my dad. So my dad is in his mid-80s, and he's got a stroke now. But so he was ethnic. His family was ethnically cleansed in India in 1947, so under partition, and his father was killed, hung, and their entire house was ransacked. And I've seen him, and he's gone up and down business-wise 4 times in his life. So this is the 4th time. Yeah. So I see a sort of a resonance between your story and his, and his. I always wonder what his winning formula was, because he's really not openly spoken about the loss of his dad and what happened to him. And I see, in him, sort of, he just bulldozes. He just, without sometimes thinking about other people's feelings, and that's his winning formula. And he's been very successful in his life. And in the same way, I've identified in you, that clearly you have a drive to protect your business. I mean, and that comes from your experiences when you were very young and watching your dad. I mean, it's there. And then not only protect your business, protect your staff. I mean, the way you talk about your team is really heartwarming. And then not only that, it's also how you drove that business and continue driving that business in progress, in adversity. And I think that's where your winning formula sits. What do you think?
Yeah, I think probably I've always been the bulldozer. I will just smash through things, and I really won't care about consequences. And I don't care who I'm talking to. I'm the guy that calls Uncle Luke. It's Luke Johnson, one of the most successful investors in our industry. And when I see him, I go, and just bring a bit of fun to it, and just make people laugh through what we can do and push. But the fire. I knew that already. I was always the dominant one in the relationship, and the 3 of us always have been, and kind of buffered with when we brought in a chairman, went kind of head to head quite a lot, just because of how I do that. And he identified with me and kind of didn't really have the same opinion, so I would go head to head with him 24/7. And I over dominate my 2 co-founders, which I've learned how to try and not do, because they just don't like it and it's not fair to them. But when there are certain times when it just needs to damn well happen, that's what I do. With the fire, everybody that rocked up on the Saturday morning, I took 2 hard hats. I literally, the train station from me is about 10-minute normal drive. And when I got the message come through saying that the pub's on fire, one of my girls we had an office up here, and she had gone down, and I just text back going, fantastic. It was 8 o'clock on a Friday night. We'd had a few beers. We'd just finished bringing in a whole new mentoring team for my junior managers. I'd made loads of changes in the pubs. It was a great day doing one-to-one sessions with them all online, because we didn't have to go to each pub. And I've been working with a guy that I brought in who I was helping kind of get over his business. So he came in as a consultant into mine, and amazing with people. So we had just finished. I was like, right, I'm going to go and grab a couple of beers. This has been a great day. And then to get that message, and then I just fired it back, just going, fantastic, enjoy yourself, hope you're having a lovely time. And she literally then faced something, and she's like, no, it's on fire. I was like, oh shit. So called the taxi and just said, look, dude, I need to get to the train station. Can you get round here? I've had a few beers. And he was like, yeah, give me 5 minutes, I'm on my way. So I legged it to the back, to the shed. I picked up my chainsaw, a hard hat, and another hard hat that we got out there from decorating, shoved them in. They were the first things I thought of when I was packing a bag. Beside the pants and the socks and everything, I needed hard hats. And Auntie and I stood outside the pub with hard hats on. Table number 1, we call it, which I bought from an auction. when the original people that were running the Summerstown went into administration, and I followed the bailiffs with all of the furniture. They basically came in, took all of the furniture out of the pub, loaded it all into vans. I said to the HMRC bailiff guy, look, I'll give you £2,000 cash, and we leave the furniture where it is. Don't take it out. He's like, no, dude, it has to go to the auction. I can't give you. I'll give you £2,000 cash. You tell them about, and I'll give you 500 quid that they know nothing about. He's like, no, seriously, we can't do that. We lose these contracts. So I was like, okay, great. I ordered a taxi and I followed the vans down to the auction gallery. Walked into auctioneer's son. Walked into the auction gallery. I said, do you normally have pub furniture? He's like, no. Camera shops, jewelry stores, that's our bread and butter when the bailiffs come in. I said, great, when's your auction? Tomorrow. Okay, what time? 4 o'clock. Just went down there. I bought all the furniture back, the entire furniture back for the pub for 250 quid, including this massive table that they'd had somewhere else, which we now call table number 1. And on the Saturday morning of the fire, I took it outside, blackball painted it, wrote this massive story about the fire and that we were closed, blah, blah, blah. Angie and I stood outside of it, had a picture taken with the hard hats on. And then every single person, insurance assessors, firemen, Peter Wells, who owns Charles Wells Pub Company, literally hard hat, as they're coming in. Right, okay, wow, pub's relatively well saved, but roof's gone, wow, stinks of fire, we've got all this stuff. We're like, yeah, there are hundreds of thousands of litres of water currently streaming down the walls that were pumped into the roof. And I was like, right, so opening on Friday. And property director from Charles Wells, lovely guy, came down and he just looked at me because we've done quite a few projects with them already. And he just looked and he went, no. And I was like, come on, what are you saying no to? And he went, no, we are not doing this. And I said, come on, Friday, get open on Friday. And I just knew that the insurance company, from all of the stories that we heard, weren't going to pay. And they would want us in the ground and roll us before. So just every day, come on. And then I went on holiday. We'd all had it all booked. Amazing holiday. Business was doing really well. We first decent holiday that we were going to have. For when it opened, we got a major fire. It should never have opened. They should have had it closed for a year under any normal circumstances. And if we hadn't have opened it and started trading it, I saved the insurance company a bundle load of cash because they only had to pay me business disruption on the loss. So I've saved them hundreds of thousands of pounds, which nobody said thank you to me for. But also we retained our customer base, and when people were coming in, we were going, wear a hard hat. We're having a hard hat party. Everybody put a hard hat on. We had all the scaffolding up outside the building. So yeah, literally we'd just taken the scaffolding down about a month before all of this cracked on, and the sales were rebuilding, and it just looked amazing. And I was working in the site for 3 days a week with the team, and our aim was to get it to a 2 million quid turnover site, which would make it one of the top 50 easy in the UK, and to transform it from what we had. So yeah, bull in a china shop, 100%. Need to understand the emotional impact that has on people around me, and I can't do it on my own. I've learned that Dad tried, and he had Mum there, but he tried to do it on his own. He never included her and never tried to let her know what was happening. And your protective instinct tries to do that. I'm trying to do it with Lucy. She keeps on wanting to ask. I've lashed out at her a number of times during this period, which I'm ashamed of. But you just get to a point where you break. And, this weekend I broke, and I'm not this guy that's fully confident and everything's amazing and I'm brilliant and it doesn't affect me. It has massive impacts. And Saturday I was just like, do you know what? I don't see a way out of this. We had no information on the loan, and time's running out. We're getting nothing from the government. Nobody's talking to us. I'd gone and hit the press really hard and just gone bollocks to it. Whatever happens, I'm opening on the 4th of July, even if I get put in jail. That then upset her because I'm saying that I'm going to go to jail, and I didn't think about it. Didn't even consider it when I said it. So yes, that's the guy I am. And can I change? Probably. Do I want to change? No. Should I change? Probably.
But you see, the thing is, the beauty about your personality is that you're vulnerable, you're very self-aware, and you're not scared about talking about it. And that's that is such a asset to have, especially in a guy, to be honest with you. And it's not the stiff upper lip, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and away you go. And I think that's really good. I know from a supplier's perspective, I would rather deal with somebody like that and put me in my place and tell me what he thinks, because those sort of people always are very loyal to those who are very close around them. And I that's what I found. So my next question is what stops you? I mean, what are you scared of?
Good question. I don't think I'm scared of anything, actually. I'm not scared of I'm genuinely not scared of anything.
Fear of anything?
No, I think, do you know what? I don't know if it's blaggability. I've always been able to get myself out of tight situations, and I just think that if no matter what happens, if I'm backed into a corner, there's a way for me to slip out of it. Maybe with a couple of scars, maybe a few bruises, but I'll slip out. So, and I don't know if I thrive on that, but I seem to want to do it a lot in my subconscious. I don't know why. So yeah, I'm not really scared. I am absolutely scared of losing everything that we've built and kind of being a failure and not making the right choice when I had the decision of either staying corporate or going it alone. I've certainly not built a business right here, right now that I wanted to have built for 12 years of my life and working career. Should have been a damn sight more successful than I am currently. And I look back on that with an element of regret, because there should have been some decisions that we made early days, that we didn't make because of naivety and not learning. But the stuff I have learned puts me in some great stead to rocket forwards. And if I look back over my shoulder, and I didn't even know it was the anniversary of the fire until Ash sent me a message saying he was at a gig, and I rang him, and I was like, dude, the pub's on fire, I'm heading to London. And he was like, what? Why are you talking? Wait. And I didn't kind of go out of the gig and say, do you want me to come? I was like, no, you've been looking forward to this for ages. Enjoy it. And it's been delayed. So he sent me a screenshot of it saying that whatever it was, the Rockets or something. He's massively into his music, the guy, and it was meant to be on the same date. And I didn't even really think. I knew it was this sort of time of the month, but I had no idea it was the anniversary of it, because I just don't look back. I don't look over my shoulder. I always look forward, and my memory of the past is rubbish. But if that's only 2 years ago, and what we've had to come through within 2 years, God, what can I achieve in 5? What can I achieve in the next 5, 10, 15? If I really, really put my mind to it, because we keep on saying, oh yeah, time's going so fast and there's not enough time to do stuff. And well, then when you look back and just sense check what a couple of years feels like, there's a massive amount of opportunity out there. Get ourselves through this bit, and yes, it's delayed our plans hugely, and it's delayed kind of what we're doing, because we've had to kind of borrow some massive amount of cash now with the civils loans. And there's a huge risk in payback for that. But we're investing into the property, and we can make the wire mill look incredible. It's already beautiful anyway, but now with the opportunity of doing this, we could just go, wow, we can create something that can trade all year, not just at summertime. So yeah, no real fear. Fear of personal failure, yeah, but I've made enough mistakes to kind of know, do you know what, I ain't great. So I've had plenty of failures already.
It's interesting because when you go through something like that, and in your case, you've actually invested a lot of time and effort in goodwill through your posting and podcasting. So you've done a lot of legwork where you've put your business on the map. So those people who are your really trusted, loyal customers, they're going to come back one way or another. They're going to come back, and I see that because you've invested heavily in that goodwill will always, there's always a payback for that, and that really I think keep you guys in good stead, from my own experience.
Yeah, and a rocking chair moment for me. Somebody, I've forgotten who told me that, probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe when I was being told off for something and not looking after people. And I think it was, just remember your rocking chair moments. What can you look back on in fondly that you achieved with what the time that you were here? And yeah, kind of those things, and that's why they're so massively important to us. And just one making difference to one person. You know, I took out a birthday meal to a couple that were isolating. I spoke to them for well over half an hour. The food was cold. I was literally like, you know, Jay's done all of this work to make you the dinner. The pavlova is melting, and your food's going cold. And he was like, I don't care about it, you know. And he literally went into the house. He got a tenner because we'd been talking about the kind of money raised for the elderly and isolated. And he got a tenner, and he just came over and he just, you know, he gave it to me and he said, look, just use it for some good, you know, put it to some good. And I was like, yeah, we can do that, you know. And he trusted me to do that, and people have trusted us to do it and deliver through and kind of not pull the wool over their eyes or pretended to be doing stuff. So yeah, the rocking chair moment for me in this period of time has been just phenomenal, and I'm so proud of what the guys have achieved with the homeless project. You know, like I say, I've not been there. You know, I've prayed around with some beer, and they've done it all, but it's our business that's facilitated it. You know, we built it. They're my people. It's their nurturing spirit that has made them want to volunteer and be part of it and be there. So I think they can take away some real pride and ownership of that as well for themselves for the future, and realise that they were there to protect and help those people, no matter what happens to them next. You know, that's part of their journey.
Yeah, it's a great cause. I mean, I was looking at the posts on the rocking chair memories, and it's really inspiring. It's very good. I love it. Your fitness regime. What's the target on that one?
Hey, smashed it today. Did my 1K target. Did 4:58.
Okay.
So yeah, literally blew myself away. It's the first time that I've gone out for a run like proper early. So I thought, you know what, get myself into a bit more of a routine and structure. Went down to the mill on Thursday, Friday last week, and didn't manage to get out. Just got consumed by business. So I was like, yeah, it feels like this could happen. You know, as we build into the next 2 weeks, my regaining of an element of personal preference and stuff, and also just the fun fact that everybody thought I was going to give up. Do you mean that, you know, the guys are like, there's no way you're going to hold this out, dude. So my original target was to get around. I don't know if I did. I did a marathon. And there's a picture of my brother and I doing the marathon. He worked for Nestle Waters, and Vattel sponsored us to go around, and I completed the London Marathon. It was amazing, and I loved it. And my feet bled, and I lost toenails, and you know, I literally ran around a park twice in training. It was ridiculous, and it was just sheer bull-headed, complete idiots that got me round and got me across the line. I couldn't walk for a week. I was done. I was in bed for a week. Literally, my legs seized up, and Lucy was like, "Oh, you're complete and utter fool." I was like, "Yes, I am." So the target is just to keep on going. Actually, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the personal time and listening to the music. I've got an amazing place to run. I'm not even bored of the route yet. You know, I think I'm up to 26 runs now in the 33 days. And if I can get out sort of 4 or 5 times a week. I'm beginning to get obsessed with beating my record. So this morning, I put myself under quite a lot of pressure to match my average pace at 5:30 because I'd started at 7:50. And yeah, I hit a certain part on the run. And yesterday I ran much better in terms of running, right. But and kind of the ongoing bit, but. Today felt great, you know, and I've been out early morning, already done it. I came back and Lucy was stunned that I was bringing her a cup of coffee at 7:15. I'd already gone out for a run, so there's a bit of a tick box there. And yeah, just enjoying it. I always knew I needed to do it, and you know, I look at my original photos and the chin and everything like that, and it's all beginning to disappear. And belt buckles, I've got 2 on. So, yeah, you know, when I get on stage and do my speech, I'd look decent rather than some fat dude rocking up on stage.
No, it's brilliant, and I think it very much resonates and aligns. You've aligned yourself with actually the recovery of your business, if you think about it from a psychological, unconscious perspective. You know, you're both going in that, you know, sort of same direction. So it's a wonderful synergy that I see. You know, we're coming to the end of the show, and I just wanted to ask you a final thought that I do ask my guests, parting thought. I was going to ask you, what did you learn from your father's loss of business, especially, you know, his death in your everyday life? in your business, in your personal life. I guess that may come into that final thought for before we part.
Yeah, I mean, I went from being my dad was my hero, and I was so cool because I get to go to Brighton, and I was on a bus to Brighton twice a week, and I used to go and buy BB guns from the shops at 14 years old when you're meant to be 18, and I traded sweets at school. When he was at the auction galleries, I used to go out with him in the car. I used to buy 20 quid's worth of sweets. I had 30 lockers, 20 kids at school working for me. All the kids would come off the buses coming into school, and I'd flog them all over the sweet. You make 100 quid a day. Better more money than what I make now. I should go back to school. The straw that broke the camel's back is I got caught with the BB guns because the kids realised that I could get them. So, bringing guns into school isn't necessarily a good idea. And the replicas looked so much like normal guns. And a teacher spotted it, and then that was it. Got kibosh and got completely bored. And Mr. Robinson, who was my headmaster, was like, "Dude, you're going nowhere in life." Then when he actually uncovered the whole operation, which they knew nothing about for nearly 2 years, I literally went through 2 years of school without being dobbed in by anybody. I was selling pencils and stationery and sweets. The whole thing progressed. He was like, "How long have you been doing this?" Not long, yeah, probably a couple of weeks. And then further digging. It was like, "You've had an operation in my school for 2 years, employing 20 plus kids across all these lockers, all over these different levels. Take it back, So I think you're going to have a great future. Just maybe not in teaching."
Yeah.
So he went from my hero to I hated him. Absolutely hated him. Couldn't bring myself to go to the funeral. Went because Lucy told me I would regret it for the rest of my life. I've never visited his grave. He's been dead for 11 plus years now. And I put that guy into the ground and I forgot all about him. So, if you kind of want to go into real deep, cutting, emotional stuff, he went from my absolute hero, picking up the pieces every time. And I saw how he just changed in terms of character completely for me. So my legacy is to make sure that doesn't happen with my kids, and that they won't always, they're going to hit teenagers and Finn's going to hate me. But hopefully it's a soft hate rather than a really core hate. At the moment, I can play tennis like nobody's business. He's 10, I can thrash him, but give him a couple of years, he's got me all done, mate. He's fanatic. So be there for them, balance the two together. I made a conscious decision to run this business to have a work-life balance. It wasn't going to happen in FMCG. I'd be a weekend dad. That was the choice that I had. The business pressures that were on me and expected within my role meant that I just wouldn't be there. And certainly trying to run the pub business and doing the FMCG business just wasn't stacking up as well as having a family. So I needed to make the choice. And my sell to Lucy was the car will go. Beautiful car, all paid for, amazing salary, great benefits, incredible pension. Don't worry, it'll all be fine. We're going to create this amazing business. We could trust me. I keep saying that word. I drop it for a bike, and the car will be there in a few years. Don't worry about it. I've still got the bloody bike. So, and that was nearly 10 years ago. So, hasn't quite packed out how, but my ability to have that relationship, and I've got friends who are weekend dads or were weekend dads until coronavirus. The change I've seen in them is incredible. And they've just gone, wow, is this really what you've had for the last 10 years? I was like, yes, it is. I made that decision. Yes, I work incredibly hard. Yes, I go away. We don't live anywhere near the pubs. So it's a hell of a journey for me to go there. But when I am here, I'm here, and they can grab me whenever they need to. So, so I kind of, that's the lesson from him. And that's kind of, again, go back to the original video, if it does all go, at least I know why. And they will both understand. Theo's too young; he's 6, so he will know what I've done or tried to do and tried to achieve in that period of time. Hopefully, we get an announcement. We can start trading. We're by nowhere near out of this, but like you say, some fun with the suppliers. My job is to make my suppliers account managers look great in front of their boss, and that's why I say the first meeting with the boys. So just, I had Diageo on the phone, video call the other day, and his boss actually joined in on the call. I was like, dude, what are you doing? I'm going to tell you the story of how I make you look great in front of your boss. You don't bring your boss to the first introduction on the call, because then he knows all the secrets. And yeah, I've worked with brand managers enough to know that you make them look good. They rock in with a £3 million Saatchi and Saatchi video. Look what I've done. Look what I've done. Yeah. Like, did you? Did you do it? Oh, right. Okay. Right. Fine. Yeah, it's my TV ad. Oh, okay. Fine. So yeah, and we can kind of take those lessons with us, and just a real balance between kind of, like you say, just in the business. We've got to be really open and transparent with all of our customers now, and just let them know everything, which is why we're ripping through the whole building. We already had a philosophy that if you wanted to look in the back of house, you could. You wanted to come into a cellar as a customer, no problem. You wanted to come into the kitchen, no problem. And that was already our brand standard anyway. We used to go mental when we kind of walked into a venue and go back of the house and just go, guys, come on, what, I know you're 21 or 22, but really, come on, have some standards.
Yeah.
It's a new journey is just about to begin, I think.
I think so, and I think we're all in the same boat, all of us. We talked about this again off air, that for me, my new normal was 2019. I've kind of acclimatized, and I was under a lot of pressure. This industry does that to you. It just puts you under the cosh consistently. So I'd say probably the last 10 years have been really, really difficult. But last year was my new normal, and then so this year everyone's joined me.
Yeah, and for you personally, for you to be coming through it, you've got to take your hat off. It's like they say, only 15% of businesses ever recover from a fire. I think it's very similar to losing a business for directors and owners. I think you'll be in that niche bracket of somebody that's come through and not broken, and part in that you've personally achieved that with the people around you, and you should be incredibly proud of that.
Yeah, touch wood. thank you. Tim Foster, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed this one. I think it is fantastic, and thank you for connecting. Tim's details will be on the credits at the end of the podcast, and we will also publish them on the post when we do. Thank you for listening. Look after yourself. Look after others. God bless.